Hi. I'm Bobby. I am a robot cat. I should like to take a moment to thank my members, patrons, those who support via donations to my channel, and those who support by viewing and interacting with my videos. This cat would not exist without you. Much love and gratitude for you all. It appears that Catherine Joy has a new angle at inserting herself into stories and proving she and Todd are not, in fact, bigots. Now, for context, 10 hours prior to her shocking revelation she had this to say.
And you can't say Kelly has a adopted sister that's black, because that doesn't matter. You can have family that's black and still be racist.
Keep this in mind as we continue. Roughly 8 hours later, Catherine drops this very peculiar bombshell on us all. Alleging her husband discovered, conveniently on your American Thanksgiving holiday, that he is not Native American as she has proclaimed for years. He is actually African American. At least to some percentage. Wow! Here is what she had to say. My husband and I spent the day digging into his family's heritage. It's amazing how stories get mixed up from one generation to the next. For years, my husband was told by his family that his grandfather was Chippewa descent. So today, we decide to dig into Grandpa's heritage. Turns out he was born in Chippewa County, Michigan, but he's definitely not Native American. Well, we've been going through his family tree all day. He has a fourth great-grandma that might have Native ancestry. What we were shocked to find is his second great-grandfather served in the Civil War for the Union Army. Peter was actually mixed race with African lineage. All this time, we believed he had Native American heritage, but multiple great-grandparents on his mum's side were actually listed as mixed race, having African American descent. Census used the M term to describe people of mixed African, European descent. So his second great-grandfather Peter, who served in the Civil War, his dad was white and his mother was listed as mixed. Peter's wife, Julia, my husband's second great-grandma, her mom, third great-grandma, was also mixed race. So both Peter and Julia had ancestors from Africa on their mum's sides. Julia's parents, Augustine and Maria, my husband's third great-grandparents, their census report from 1830 tallied all the free white people along with slaves in homes. The wild part though is that Maria actually was mixed race. One year they listed her as white, whereas years later she was listed at M. So it apparently depended upon who asked about who lived there, and how the person answered. The last name spelling also changed depending on who wrote. So cross-referencing birth dates was key. We really had no idea until we started searching that we realized, holy crap, his family was a part of slavery at one point. Both my husband and son have African ancestors. I am going to keep on looking to find where the lineage originates. Slavery wasn't that long ago and we have so much work to do to keep fighting for equality. Swipe left, please don't be offended by old census report. Well, in a strange effort to further convince the masses that she now can never be racist, she shares this extremely uncomfortable flex on her husband's heritage. My husband's seventh great-grandfather, Sir Charles Hobby. He was a colonel and governor in Massachusetts. He has a Wikipedia page. Sir Charles Hobby, 1665 to 1715, was a Boston merchant and militia colonel, commanding a provincial regiment during the siege of Port Royal 1710, and serving as its acting governor in 1711. He was knighted in 1705. OMG, he enslaved 6 people. So maybe this is where some of the African descendants started. You may be wondering where all of this is coming from. Well, Catherine returned to her Instagram to share her newest, unhealthy obsession: the Civil War. However, the response to this latest tirade was not a positive one. First, let's have a butcher at what she had to say.
The Confederate Civil War was not about slavery. They believe it was about states' rights. Do you know why those states didn't want to have federal laws? Because the federal laws was making slavery illegal. That's what they were fighting about. The Northern Union and the federal government was outlawing slavery. And these states wanted to secede from the nation for their own right to own slaves. So it's not about states' rights, it's states' rights to own slaves. So when you're honoring these men who fought, and the Confederates, they were the first organized white supremacist group of the United States history.
Catherine, you just contradicted yourself. Seth, never mind. She is clearly redirecting her obsessive behavior to this new venture. And, in usual Catherine form, when the heat is up, she conveniently now has hard ties to the Civil War, and her husband is also of African American descent. I do find this quite suspicious. However, not as terrifying is her admission that her husband's ancestors allegedly owned slaves, and her insinuation they did inappropriate things to those slaves, adding African American blood into Todd's gene pool. What's he fuckery is wrong with this woman? And before you wonder if Adderall Lanny is simply having a bad day, she assured us she is not.
What it's all about.
Someone literally showed up on my channel yesterday and said that I was high on amphetamines because I had animation. I'm like, oh God. I don't think I'd be able to have the kind of job I do if I was spending all my time doing drugs and drinking as much as these people think I do. I don't think I've even had I haven't had any alcohol in like 2 weeks. I don't think I've even had I haven't had any alcohol in like 2 weeks.
Never mind. In recent weeks, Catherine has been pushing boundaries at every available opportunity. From pulling the Browns' financial records and posting them across social media, to doxing the private social medias of a Turpin sister, and even posting the sexual conduct in great expressive detail between a minor and an adult. She just never seems to know when to stop. She also took a break from on-camera videos, emerging with something not quite right going on. Perhaps she fell ill. Perhaps Botox gone bad. We may never know. What we do know is Catherine is a lying liaison of epic proportion.
So it's not about states' rights, it's states' rights to own slaves. So when you're honoring these men who fought, and the Confederates, they were the first organized white supremacist group. And you can't say Kelly has a adopted sister that's black, because that doesn't matter. You can have family that's black and still be racist. You can have family that's black and still be racist. And it's the same thing as I have a black friend. I can't be racist. Yes, you can. You can still be racist. You could still we have no idea. She could be racist to her sister.